What up, what up, what up? Ew. How's it going? Remy and everyone else. I am glad to be back. I've been sick for the past week. I'm still a little congested, to be honest. But was able to go to work today. Through the worst of it. Of course, now Nico is sick, so we're never sick at the same time, which on one hand is kind of good. On another hand, it's kind of annoying. But that's been what's up with me. I hope y'all have been good. I'm glad to be streaming again. No, yeah, I used to never really get sick, and then COVID. This time wasn't COVID. This was just a sinus infection. I took like 3 different COVID tests, and they all tested negative. But yeah, it knocked me on my ass more than I was expecting. Like, just another sign that I am getting old. When you're in public school, yeah, I get that. I probably will start getting sick now more than I'm doing, like, because I'm basically just doing all in-person appointments right now. Hopefully that'll change in the near future. And I'll be doing a mix, but especially because I'm doing just like all in-person appointments right now, I feel like it just really raises the chance of me getting sick. But going to get my COVID and my flu shot in a couple weeks. So, if I do get COVID or the flu, I shouldn't be as sick. Now, if I get a sinus infection, who knows? I'm just gonna be sick as a dog again. But nice. Well, good for you, Remy. It sucks. It's not fun.
Objection! Objection! Objection!
It took me a while to get my first bout of COVID. It was like 2 years or so into the pandemic. Yeah, I know a lot of people who, or I know a few people at least who like got sick like in December 2019, January 2020, and like just thought it was like a real nasty flu with weird symptoms. It was probably COVID. We're also not drinking tonight. I'm not drinking tonight. Y'all can drink. I'm not that well yet to be getting tip shit. Okay, we'll see. I'm sure I'm gonna stream again on Sunday. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see if Nico's feeling up to playing. 'Cause usually we do a co-op game with Nico on the weekends. But they're also, again, they're feeling kind of sick, so we shall see what the weekend streams will be. Take that. Okay. Time to do some lawyering. Or I guess some investigating. That's what we're doing first. Last we left off, we were still investigating. I think last stream I only made it like an hour or two. And we were just still doing investigation here of this scene. We'll see how far we get tonight. I think tonight's also going to be a short stream. I'm planning to get at least 2 hours. Planning to get at least 2 hours out of the stream tonight. 2 to 3. It's kind of what I'm thinking tonight's stream would be. 2 to 3 hours. Okay, we had talked about everything. For those who weren't here last time, basically, I know, right? So, as of right now, what we've been told is that this guy, our best bud, is dead. Like, we were on a trip with him to go to London or some shit. And then we found out, oh no, he's dead. And we were, like, staying in his cabin, and we're accused of it. But we pretty much know that we couldn't have done it at this point. Because of the... Well, one, because we know we're not a murderer. And two, there was, like, some, like, thing placed on the cabin. This thing was on the outside. It was, like, taped on, and because it was still there... Because it was still there when the body was found, we couldn't have done it. Oh, you're right, best bud. What am I talking about? That's our gay butt boy lover. This guy. This is our, like, legal assistant. I don't know. She's the epitome of a refined Japanese lady, apparently. She doesn't seem... I liked Maya better from the other game. Maya Fey. She was more fun. Okay, now we need to examine some stuff. I have my eye on the sign back here. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Buria. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. I'm gonna bring that back. I remember I used to do that. I used to whisper ASMR all the orange words. And I'm gonna do that again. Right, we're gonna be friends, but then it's like, oh wait, no, we are actually the murderer. Fuck. I get it. What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. Yes, pet, exactly. Oh dear, that won't do. Oh? What's the matter, Susato-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused, I forget to look around properly. Oh, it's just teaching us how to look around. He's Kazuma's pet, exactly. But we also have a dangerous object. Ah, yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard. Are you, Naruhodo-san? Ah, yes, thank you. I'm sure you're careful to look all around using BM. BM. Now, let's investigate all corners of this cabin. Yes, let's do that. Oh yeah, I have to remind myself. How do I pronounce this? Because I know it's going to come up. Ryunosuke. I'll try to say it right this time, Remy. Ryunosuke. I suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. Oh, that's cool. They finally did something to let you know you'd already examined something. Let's look at this. What do you think this is? Looks like a broken piece of glassware. Whatever the thing was, it appears to have broken clean in two. The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little Nitsuke fastener with a kimono outfit. Did I say that one right? Instead of Netsuke? Is it just Nitsuke? Yeah, I'm catching on. An old dog can learn new tricks. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him, would he? Nitsuke, yeah. And the mark beside it. What is it, I wonder? It has a sort of brick-like hue. Yes, you're right. It is the color of brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in the cabin. The books have fallen over on the shelf. Look, they've all toppled the same way. And what's this? A statue of some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked, and everything mown down at once. It's probably from the ship turning. I wonder if... Perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing his morning sword training. Do you think? I seriously doubt it. Right? He looks so suspicious. Then perhaps... I think it's the sailor as well. It was you, Naruhodo-san? In a fit of rage. I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder? Yes, it's because the ship probably tilted. Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. No, don't touch it. It's a crime scene. Why would... what? Hiya! Alright, let's look at this lock. When I went for help and the crewmen forced the door open, this bolt had been firmly closed. Fuck it back up. I want to. It's quite a small bolt, not particularly sturdy, and it just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. Ooh, do you feel a little tingle in your wiener? I remember reading once in a detective novel. The culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across from outside the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. Masha, what do you want? Masha? Masha? Yes, she's got some pipes on her. Good girl, Masha. You can come up on the desk if you want. I'll give you some pets up here. You can come up on the desk. Oh, Boris is up here. That's why you don't want to come up here. Yeah, Boris is sitting by the window. Yeah. God, she's a fucking chatterbox. Okay. Right. You already read that. But the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There would be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. She glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. Again, apparently. We, the next cat we want to get an orange cat, but we want to also get a cat who, like, has more of, like, a deeper voice, like a deeper timbre. Because we've got Boris, he's like an alto. And, we think Masha's a soprano. So we need, like, our nice baritone or bassy cat to really round out the chorus. Yeah, it won't let us mess him back up. That's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Yes, God, Boris is so whiny. Well, it's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was brought on board inside this case. Ah, yes, I see it says, "This way up," in Japanese. Which, in hindsight, should have realized the foreign crewmen wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over. And then I was tossed on the floor in here. Oh dear, being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a Susato takedown. Fuck, that's right, she like judo threw us earlier. Yes, Boris is the same way about the goddamn garage. He always wants to go in there. This is where dear Kazuma-sama would have sat whenever he was writing. London Diary. Poor Kazuma. He didn't even make it to his destination. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means... what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Hiya! That's out of the question. What? Kazuma-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what if it's something important? Something relevant to the case? Alright, alright. I won't read it. Poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? Right? Like, let us look at the journal. Jeez. Alright, let's check out the body. Did Kazuma write that before he died? Looks like it's written in ink. Right, we have to distract her. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Kazuma-sama. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of a clue in his final moments, was he? I forgot what, I had Nico come in and look and see what that was. I forgot what it was. It was like sailor. Or it might even just say Russian. I can't remember. But I remember when, like, Nico told me what it said. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, like, that makes sense. I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. Had to let Princess Masha where she wanted to go. Okay, what did it say? I don't think that's Japanese. Yeah, no shit. What? Then what language is it? It's Russian. Pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? Yeah, it's Cyrillic. It's definitely Russian. It's my dinner from last night. A roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But did you eat it on the floor there? I'm not a dog, Susato-san. I ate at the table, of course. Which begs the question, when and how the plate ended up on the floor. Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. So he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no, does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on this earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. That does sound awful. Ugh, now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. There's nothing on this table at all. Plate and cutlery are all over the floor for some reason. Yes, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still... No. Wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama. No. Okay, well that didn't work out well for us. Let's look at the sword. It's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is his soul. Katana! I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on this trip. I suppose that shows just how important it was to him. Now he's gone, but I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. Where's my mouse? Oh, it finally died. Sege, the Japanese word for justice. The brushstrokes are straight and true. Just like Kazuma? Yes, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his heart. Yet can you really look at those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? Of course I can. I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? She don't believe us. Even though you stowed away on the ship? Now you're going to bring that up, are you? I can't win. Yeah, let's talk to the Russian dude here soon. Perhaps I should see what this Russian crewman makes of the scene of the crime. Excuse me. What? I was wondering how it's going. The investigation, I mean. Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes, but it's not true, I see. Sorry? The criminal asking an investigator for information about his crime. Very funny. Oh, it wasn't supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty. You might have useful information, though. I have to keep trying. So, last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? Right?
Niet, of course not. Now back to corner of room and make silent. I say no more to you.
Did I hit a nerve? Just for a minute there, he seemed a little flustered. A little. Alright. Let's look over here. Yeah, look up here. This is what I want him to examine. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, that's what it is. It looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to. You're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air in the room, surely it should be connected to the outside. That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough. Or something like that? I suppose. Maybe that's it. Where'd you come from? Who's that? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. You mean white? Oh. How did he... You've noticed the man too, have you? I have no idea who he is, or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious, and tall. Suspiciously tall. Naruhodo-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? It's Skolms or something, right? Herlock Skolms? Well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. Something very unusual about him. And is he investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it, or does Susato-san look almost uncontrollably excited? And by the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case... If you press space on people when they're in the crosshairs, you can converse with them. Alright then, I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. This is just the same thing, right? Yeah. Just making sure. Excuse me. Excuse me. Do you have a moment? Shh. This is a critical point in my investigation. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Oh, shit. Greetings. I hope I haven't kept you long. Ah! What exactly were you doing on Kazuma's desk just now? Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry? What do you see? Feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My
deductions have crystallized. You...
Am I going to give him a British accent? Reminds me when I was playing Moving Out to British, and Nico wanted me to speak in that old man voice, and I did a pretty good job, but I was also not sick. Alright. You can't make fun of me for this, because you asked for it. It's choosing. You... God, I can't even do an accent right now. Oh God, my brain. Have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Okay, no, I can't do it. No, I can't do it. I'm too sick. My brain doesn't know how to do a British person anymore. I honestly could do a pretty awful, but at least clearly trying to be British accent when I'm not sick. I cannot do it right now. It did. It just, I can do Australian fine, but I don't know. British is just, it escapes me. Or Irish. I can do Irish too, but like, the British just isn't coming. Oi! No, that's just Australian. Right? Like I'm sitting here trying to do it. All right, no, yeah, I've got to try to channel some like British character that I can. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. No, I can't do it. I don't know what it is. I can do an Australian. Let's do an Australian Sherlock Holmes. Have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. See, I can do an Australian just fine, but for some reason I can't do it British. We're gonna just have an Australian Sherlock Holmes. Sorry? What? Sherlock. And now, whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Oh. Well, that's true, at least. I was trying to do the ASMR with the accent, but I couldn't do it. A most troubling predicament. There we go. Predicament. Gotta really hit the dick. Gotta really hit the dick with the Australian. I feel like my Australian is also kind of like half New Zealandish. It's like an Australian New Zealand kind of like mix. You didn't like that, Remy? Okay, I'm gonna keep doing it. But how? How the deuce did I know that? Perhaps it was really a most element. I had the British for a second. I had it, and then I lost it. Oddly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madam. For example... Oh, I have autoplay off. You have fled your native land to Russia, being as you are a merciless... I don't know. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. I'm done with the accents. I can't keep doing it. And when the beribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. Regretting my choices. Yeah, you're the one who said to do an accent. Well, I guess you specifically asked for British, but I couldn't do that. Alright. Just to be clear, you are talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? I don't even see one person who fits the bill. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. What? And you're plotting a revolution, too. It's shameful behavior, Naruhodo-san. Absolutely wicked. No. Listen, there's no way Hi-ya! This bitch just keeps kicking my ass. Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. That's all it took to convince her. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Do you not? Well, yes, maybe. Ha! There you have it. You see? What do you make of that? Well, to be honest, the ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So, I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. Sure, but then you have to do something with it. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles, you see. I announce my findings with a brassy certitude, and more often than not, I'm right. I don't think you introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. Just men and women. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes. So, it's really you, the actual Sherlock Holmes. The very same, the inimitable actual Sherlock Holmes. Do you know this man, Susato-san? The most famous detective in the world? Naruhodo-san, of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on then? I must ask him what he's deduced. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? Great detective. So you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Oh, I see. You're German? Hairlock, was it? No, I have no hair. I mean, I have hair. Please, call me Holmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, Rant's magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interest articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Ah yes, here it is. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So, you're the protagonist in a series of short stories then? Indeed I am. And you've read so many of your own stories, you've started to think you really are a detective. Make no mistake, I'm not the poor, deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London, just like in house. Dr. Wilson. I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment I am returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really? I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is to me a science. Logical reasoning in its purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subject. A furtive glance, a twitch of a muscle, a slight inclination of the posture, fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin. All these things are data. Right. And the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. How can you look me in the eye and claim that? Right, you thought we were a Russian assassin. So you see, I have a turn, both for observation and for deduction, and fame. That is what makes me the one and only Herlock Sholmes. Let's talk about Kazuma's death. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything? My dear fellow. Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all of the crew members to force the cabin door open. I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective Herlock Sholmes was on board. And the handcuffs seemed to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, two facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh, really? Two facts, you say? Mr. Sholmes, tell us, please, what two facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah, yes. But first, let us be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand, but what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The two facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number one, the cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of the question. Number two, the victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Sholmes. What made you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. Ah, that is the Russian word for wardrobe, right. That's right, I remember Nico telling me that, and I'm like, ah, or like dresser or wardrobe, I'm like, ah, okay, yeah, that's where I was, and that makes sense why they, like, that I'm being framed by a Russian. Do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian, was he? Initially, I considered Garderobe may be the name of the killer. A certain Robert Gard, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there, at least. Where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Quite so. I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer.
is it that I'm Russian too?
I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Our school uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people?
I had no idea.
I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and the message that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. That's Kazuma. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, thank you. Photograph of crime scene has been entered into the court record. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? What, pray? You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary, fleeing from Russia and all that. Ah yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. You might explain that train of reasoning to me, do you think? Certainly, if it interests you. I don't know what he's saying there. How many times... I'm not Russian, and I don't speak Russian. Can we talk about your deduction before? The things you concluded about me, I mean... Ah, the now famously accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in? Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part? Oh yes, the more sordid details. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads... Revolutionary Milan Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. This vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday, and last night, the young Russian was murdered. Since when was Kazuma a Russian? Sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded he was Russian because of what Kazuma-sama wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. How? One who would kill the very man who helped him to escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you. Milan Bolshevik. No, no, no. How could it be me? I don't look anything like this man. Just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. What does that mean? Therefore, you have no doubt learnt to revolutionize your appearance as well. I want to murder this guy. Ugh, please. And, I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? Well, it's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower. Ah yes, the journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far, and those he has plotted. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? And what about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly stated here in the article. Bolshevik has recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it anyway? Wow. This Afghanistan place. Here, take the paper for yourself, as a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you. absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages, but I see no rubbish bin nearby. Oh, so you just want me to throw it away for you. Oh, the article about the revolutionary. And you may find the article on the back page of interest as well. On the back. Cast your eye over it sometime if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I could hope to read it. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruhodo-san? Well, no. I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. Can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I. But look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? No, it's about a dancer. She's very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know. I can't make any sense of it. Ah, I'm glad you've noticed this article. I'm going to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. Pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Tai Chi. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? They're not? It would appear the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing rooms. Nikolina. Wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievable sum of money. Susato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. Tiara is the property of Novovich Ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance at all ports, with sailings to Great Britain. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? It does seem to be the Russian thing to do. I'm not even going to dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruhodo. The Russian thing to do. Good one. Do we get a summary of this article as well? I'm afraid I can't read a word of Russian. Nope, me neither. I have no idea what any of this says. The pair of you floundering is a sorry sight. Allow me to offer some assistance. The article on the front page of this newspaper is concerned with a fearsome Russian revolutionary. It reads, Revolutionary Milan Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. Yes, you told us that before. It reveals also that those who see the man's beard with their own eyes never live to tell the tale. Oh my goodness, he is fearsome! Well, presumably the newspaper photographer was alright, wasn't he? The solution is obvious, of course. If he despises his beard to that degree, he need only shave it off. I'm not quite sure that's the problem, Mr. Scholz. Okay. Nothing. Before we started talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you? Kazuma? Ah, yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe, for a moment, the desktop of the victim. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. London Diary. Kazuma was keeping notes of the trip. Ah, but... I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. That's fair. I'm gonna end the stream soon anyways. Tragic! It's something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. Yeah, I'm getting kind of tired. I'm only gonna be up for another hour or so anyways. You mean you've read it already? Good night, Remy. Sleep well. It's my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Susato takedown is. Of course, she's not going to do anything to him. Susato-san, aren't you going to throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand, namely, this diary belonging to the victim, it would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray, be precise as the details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese. A smattering, dear boy. A smattering. Sayonara, bonsai, mikado, nado. I trust you're suitably impressed. But this diary is littered with complicated-looking characters, of which I can read precisely none. So what was all that showing off about before, then? If you would be so kind as to show me, I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm much obliged, my dear madam. Final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. A whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. Second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean? No idea. I've never heard that expression before. Ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being, at least. Ah, do you have somewhere to go? As it happens, the victim's writing in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe. And if I am still too long, the seasickness takes hold. Oh, I suppose you're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to? Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exaltation. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence, the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think, perhaps, that we could go with you? No, that would be somewhat complicated. What? But why? A simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer. Oh, these. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No? At some point, try to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Dear me, you are clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know? Not really. So what, were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyway, that was then, and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you're the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Ah ha 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 ha. Now he's just being plain rude. Off he goes. I mean, just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Naruhodo-san, what are you just standing there for? Hmm? We must go investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? There's no way I can... Hi-ya! She throws us one more goddamn time, I swear. After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to give up? You're just going to roll over and accept your fate? As if you gave me any choice in the rolling over part. I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea. The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. And I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this and bring the real culprit to justice. Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san? Oh, no, it's just that crewman standing by the door. Can't help feeling like I've seen him somewhere before. Yeah, he's that cop that was undercover at the restaurant. Oh, yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir? Yes? What can I do for you? Yep. I recognize that face. But it can't be. He really needs to seek some medical attention. It is. I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga. Hello again. What are you doing here? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you. My heart stopped. Oh. Yes, nearly stopped, I hope. I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew and board this ship. Again? You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. I never expected to see this man on board. But perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. Whew, okay. I know I said I was going to try to make it 2 or 3 hours, but I am tired. I love y'all, and I would love to keep going, but I just can't. I'm still kind of sick, as you can tell. I said I'm not sick, but I might have lied a little bit. So yeah. Oh, I need to get Balatro. That's a game I need to get. But, no, yeah. I appreciate y'all being here. Appreciate everyone stopping by. I've got to get some rest. Clearly, I'm not fully not sick, but you know, we're getting there. We'll see y'all again on Sunday, most likely. Maybe even tomorrow on Saturday. It's kind of up in the air. I don't know what Nico's gonna want to do with the day. I assume they're gonna want to rest a lot, although they usually don't nap. But I'm gonna try to get them to rest quite a bit. And I've got some work to do, but we'll see. We'll see. Y'all will see me again this weekend. Maybe Nico as well. We'll try to play some Moving Out. Maybe I'll feel up to playing some Overwatch or something. I am wanting to start Final Fantasy IX soon. There's this new game called Playthru that I've been watching other people play, and like looks really sick and fun. It's like a roguelike poker card game thing, and it looks really fun. But yeah, I'll see y'all again this weekend. Take care until then. Wash your hands. Don't get sick like I did. I mean, I washed my hands, but I still got sick. But still, wash your hands. Try not to get sick. Get your COVID and flu shots and all that. And I'll see y'all soon. Bye.